One of the very small organisms that lives in the soil and gardens and can have a great impact on the life of plants is known as the soil snail. Even though snails have a very small body and have a shell on their upper body, they can easily slide under the soil and continue their life under the soil. Sometimes life becomes very difficult for these creatures and they cannot continue living despite these conditions. The earthen snail is also known as the garden snail, which has been able to have a great impact on the life of plants and causes the roots of plants to breathe with the ways it creates under the soil. Snails take refuge in their shells when they feel threatened and can stay in their shells for a long time. The soil snail has been able to have superiority over other snails in all types of snails and can have a great impact on plants due to its life in the garden. This organism is known as one of the mollusk organisms, which consists of a soft body, but it has a shell on its soft body that can take refuge in its shell in times of need. This organism is known as a herbivore that uses leaves of plants and other roots for its nutrition. However, the lifespan of many of these snails is short and they cannot live for a long time. The lifespan of this animal depends on various factors. Considering that these conditions are fully prepared for this animal, he can live for several years, but if problems arise in his lifespan will decrease. Some people keep these snails in very good conditions for various experiments, while some of them were able to live in these very good conditions for several years. One of the factors that can increase the population of soil snails is their reproduction, as it seems that these creatures reproduce differently from other animals. In the land snail, each of the snails emits a special smell, which attracts snails of the opposite sex, and they can mate by sticking to each other, and after a while, both of them lay eggs. The garden snail is one of the group of animals called mollusks, which consists of a soft body, and this organism can slide on the soil and other land surfaces using its soft body. Due to the fact that these animals use plants for their nutrition, their bodies are made up of lichens and they have a digestive system different from other animals. In addition to the fact that these snails have a soft body, there is a hard shell on their body that they can go inside this shell. One of the very important factors that can affect the growth of each of these animals and help them continue their lives is their nutrition. Snails that live in the sea have different nutrition than land snails, but it seems that both of them must have good nutrition to achieve a regular growth. The earthen snail uses plants for its nutrition as it lives in gardens and can use the leaves of plants as well as the roots of these plants for its nutrition. In addition to having a soft body, the garden snail has a lacquer or shell on its soft body, which can go inside this shell when necessary and protect itself from danger. Although some other animals have very hard varnishes, the body of the land snail is relatively hard, so some of them lose their varnishes in different situations. The hardness of these varnishes can be different in different species. Each of the different animals has enemies that can endanger the lives of these creatures. The natural enemies of the garden snail are snakes and lizards, as well as cockroaches, which can endanger its life in the face of this animal. Due to the fact that this animal has different enemies, but it has a lacquer that can be placed in its lacquer when facing these creatures. Some living things that live in nature have toxins in their bodies, which can be harmful to the human body and other living things. According to the research that has been done on earth snails, it seems that these snails are not poisonous and people can easily keep these snails in their gardens. In addition to the fact that the presence of these snails is necessary in some gardens, in some other parts, with the increase in the population of these snails, people should look for ways to reduce these creatures.